know, I think I've mentioned this before, but I only make my bed for these videos. Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. Ignore the mess that is my hair. I'm wearing a beanie to cover it. As you can see from the title, this is my April-May wrap-up. It's a bit late, sorry. I filmed it at the end of May and I realised I wasn't going to finish another book in May, and I was editing it yesterday. Yesterday for me is the 11th of June, and well, let's just say the file corrupted while editing. It came up with the little yellow triangle with an exclamation mark, and then I went to restart the edit and the file was corrupted. I closed down the video folder, opened it up again to see if that helps, and the videos are gone. I checked my recycling bin, they weren't there. I have no idea what happened to them, but they just magically turned invisible apparently. But anyway, so I'm going to refilm it now and I hope you enjoy it. Over the course of April and May, I only read 3 books. I was busy, I was doing work experience and stuff, but it's not important, I finished that now. I can read more books. Anyway, so the book I read in April was The Lying Game by Sara Shepard. This book is about 2 girls, kind of. One girl is named Emma and the other girl is named Sutton. The book follows the point of view of Sutton Mercer, who is actually dead. You have to read the prologue to, I think, understand that. Something happened to her and she wants to know what, but she woke up in the presence of her twin sister Emma, who had no idea she had a twin until fairly recently into the book. She gets a message from Sutton claiming she wants to meet, but then obviously Sutton never shows, and Emma gets thrown into Sutton's world and has to pretend to be Sutton because everyone thinks she is Sutton Mercer. So she's living with the family of Sutton and she plays it cool, and Emma has to try and figure out what happened to Sutton, but also while being Sutton, and try not to let anyone know she is not Sutton. How many times can someone say Sutton? The story was made into a TV series, but it got cancelled at the end of season 2, which broke my heart. I watched it on Netflix when I first got Netflix. It was just something that came up in recommendations. I think it did say at the beginning of the first episode that it is based off a book, but me, when I watched it, I wasn't a very big reader. I watched it in 2014, not sure. I really enjoyed the show, and then I had the book on my list for a very long time during 2015. I only really got it recently this year, like a few months ago, and I decided to give it a read. Loved it. I really want to get the next books. I think there's only 5 left now. I gave it, I think, 4 or 5 stars on Goodreads because it was really good, and I'm actually obsessed with Sara Shepard's writing. If you haven't read this book, I do highly recommend it. I can't wait to see what happens next. Moving on to my May part of this video, I obviously only read 2 books that month, and there is a running theme for these books, so let's see if you can catch on with that. The first book I read in May is Lying About Last Summer by Wallman. This book follows a girl named Sky who gets sent to a camp for bereaved teens to help her move on from the death of her sister Louisa. Her sister passed in an accident in the pool, and Sky was there kind of hiding from what happened. She, I think, has these nightmares. The book is really good. There's a lot of different things going on. Sky gets text from her dead sister over this app called Message Hound. Sky tries to figure out who is sending these texts. Sky believes it is someone within the camp who knows her story. That is why you keep all characters in mind. Every character is important, whether you think they're not important anymore. I forgot a couple of characters. Turns out you needed to remember them. Not giving away the story there, hope. Sky meets some very lovely people. Some people are kind of creepy, other people, they've all gone through something that Sky can relate to in a way. And then a few more things happen. Such an amazing book. It was the author's first ever published book, and it was published in May. When I read it, I think it was 1 or 2 weeks after it published that I got it, not realising it came out in May until I got it, which I think is pretty cool. And I wrote a review on my blog, so I will leave a link to that in the description box below if you want to read a review for it. I do highly recommend this. I think I gave this 4 stars or 5. I'm not entirely sure to remember, but it was such an amazing read and I do highly recommend reading it. The last book I read in May was Pretty Little Liars by Sara Shepard. Everyone should know by now the story of Pretty Little Liars. It's about these 4 girls whose fifth friend of the group who brought them all together in school went missing, and they start receiving texts or messages and emails from this character named A. A brings the girls back together because A knows all their secrets. A uses the name letter A because of the name of the 5th friend, which was Ali, or Alison De Laurentiis. And the story is about them trying to find out who A is while trying to see if it's Alison, whether Alison is alive or not. Have a few twists and turns and small things that just happen throughout the story, such as romance, breakups, heartbreak, and I think there are 16 books in the series and I own 2, but I've only read 1. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I gave it 4 or 5 stars again, but I really highly recommend reading this series, especially if you like the TV series and haven't read the books. I did get confused a few times thinking, hang on, that's not right, but I did watch the show first. But I did thoroughly enjoy reading this book. So those are the 3 books I read during April and May. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully June will be a better reading month for me. Let me know in the comments below what you read during April and May. I'd love to know. Also, if you plan ahead on what you're reading in June, let me know what you're reading and we can chat about what we've read so far and what we haven't read and what we plan to read. All my links in the description box below, so go follow me on Twitter, Instagram, add me on Snapchat, and also follow me on Goodreads. I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you next time with another video. Bye guys!
Maintaining my relationship status. Getting so angry that you pop a boner.